As we were discussing in our patient, near response is three-parted, right? Accommodation cannot occur alone. It occurs with these three. And when there's an excessive accommodation and excessive convergence, what happens? One eye, it develops a tendency to deviate inwards to that convergence. And when it deviates inwards, the abnormal relationship is reinforced continuously. जिसकी एक आंख अंदर deviate कर रही है, the child is conscious of this deviation. However, if he relaxes the near response, what will happen? He will lose his near vision. Near vision lose हो जाएगा. Accommodation नहीं होगी, near vision lose हो जाएगा ना. He was having accommodation so that he may see, he may have good near vision. So the child, he chooses near vision. He still, even though one eye is deviating, even though he suffers from diplopia at the start, he still chooses to enact his near response and to have good vision in one eye, and he sacrifices the other eye. Okay, this was the choice I was talking about. The child has to make. कि एक आंख से सब कुछ सही तरह नजर आ जाए और दूसरी आंख में विजन कम हो जाए, मतलब एक से ही सही नजर आए, और दूसरी चॉइस ये थी कि दोनों आंखों से नियर विजन बिल्कुल खराब हो जाए and he only sees things which are right. This is the choice where the child makes, and the choice is pretty obvious in this case. Okay, that is the pathophysiology somewhat behind this case. Okay, as this patient is hypermetropic, this can be accommodative esotropia.
इसको diplopia भी होगा?
Diplopia होगा. What is diplopia? That is my first question.
Double
vision, right? Diplopia is double vision. तो एक 4 साल का बच्चा, और स्क्विंट कभी कभी इससे जल्दी डेवलप कर जाती है, 3 साल में, 2 साल में, 3 साल में. Can he present to you with the complaints of diplopia?
He can tell.
कैसे?
No.
No, बच्चा कैसे कहेगा मुझे diplopia है? ठीक है? You and I are conscious adults, right? If we have double vision, we can easily tell we know what double vision is. We can tell what double vision is, right? हमें पता है double vision क्या होता है. That is why we are able to say कि we have diplopia. However, when there is concomitant squint or tropias, there is suppression of vision so that diplopia does not occur. In the start, yes, there is diplopia. बिल्कुल diplopia होता है बच्चों में, because they have good vision in both eyes, or there must be something, right? मतलब अगर एक vision उसका खराब है तो मतलब अगर hypermetropic है तो he does have good far vision. Okay, that is understood. So at the first response, when he excessively accommodates and converges, he will have diplopia. That diplopia will be telling him, all right, if you further continue with this, you have to stop this excessive accommodation. Subconsciously, the child is being told, okay, stop the excessive accommodation, stop the excessive convergence, or otherwise this will only get worse. In order to counter that diplopia, what happens? There is suppression of the images from the left eye. There is a suppression in visual acuity of the left eye so that diplopia does not happen. And since children cannot tell about diplopia, so diplopia is not a presenting complaint in concomitant squint. बड़ों में कहानी थोड़ी से फर्क हो जाती है. तो आपने बताया
भाई अगर दोनों आइज की जो पावर है वो इक्वल हो हाइपरमेट्रोपिया में, तो हमारे पास ज्यादा चांस किसका होता है कि यूनिओक्यूलर इजोट्रोपिया होगा या अल्टरनेटिंग इजोट्रोपिया?
इसमें यूनिओक्यूलर भी हो सकता है, अल्टरनेटिंग भी हो सकता है. अगेन मुझे भी इतना पता नहीं है. एज फार एज आई हैव रेड थ्योरीज, इसकी जो पैथोफिजियोलॉजी के बारे में वेरी मतलब लिमिटेड, और जो फिर एक्सटेंसिव लिटरेचर है, टेक्स टू मच टाइम टू रिव्यू, सो आई हैवंट रिव्यूड इट. सेलेक्टिव सप्रेशन हमेशा डिविएटेड आई की होगी. देखिए, डिविएशन की वजह से सप्रेशन हो रही है या सप्रेशन की वजह से डिविएशन हो रही है. इट्स एक्चुअली अ साइकिल. ठीक है, एट स्टार्ट at the start the child he faces diplopia. 5 बजे वाली क्लास में रहती है. ठीक है, at the start the child faces diplopia. What happens that there is depression. At first there is suppression of the vision. Vision suppress होने की वजह से there is मतलब vision एक बार suppress हो जाए, then the child can converge even more. So even more convergence occurs, and the deviation it becomes even greater, and in turn the suppression it becomes even greater, so that diplopia is minimized. एक cycle सा चलता रहता है. ठीक है, तो जो आई deviated है, जाहिर बात है कि if it's deviated, our light rays are not falling on the macula, so the patient will have diplopia, and in order to not have diplopia, there must be suppression from the macula. Fovea has to be suppressed. Suppression ही उस deviation को start में रोक रही थी ना, इसी वजह से diplopia हो रहा था. When that suppression is reduced, when diplopia खत्म हो रहा है क्योंकि suppression हो रही है पीछे से, तो deviation फिर उसको इजाजत मिल गई है कि you can deviate further. एक थोड़ा सा circle सा चल रहा है. If you're not able to understand, बता दो, I will try to reword this. So this becomes very important, this thing, this theory, especially in a type of esotropia which we discussed. It's accommodative esotropia, and that it becomes necessary, it's very important that we treat the child according to this. So there are some general principles of treatment. Let's just discuss them first, and after these general principles of treatment we have some specifics. So what are the general principles of treatment? What do you want in this patient? If this patient presents to you, what would you want?
Convex lens.
You're saying कि all right, this patient needs convex lenses. इस बंदे को ocular correction चाहिए. Convex lenses for his hypermetropia, and we've discussed कि चलो hypermetropia के लिए convex lenses चाहिए. How will this affect the pathophysiology? That is my first question.
इसमें कन्वर्जेंस आ इसीलिए रही है कि वो हाइपोमेट्रोपिक है, तो अगर हम उसी कॉज को ट्रीट करेंगे तो
अगर हम हाइपरमेट्रोपिया हम उसकी लेंस की पावर आइज के सामने बढ़ा दें ताकि लाइट रेस रेटिना पर फोकस हो, उसे अकोमोडेट करने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. एंड इफ वी कैन एलिमिनेट अकोमोडेशन, द नीड फॉर अकोमोडेशन, वी कैन इफेक्टिवली एलिमिनेट द नियर रिस्पॉन्स. और जब नियर रिस्पॉन्स नहीं होगा तो कन्वर्जेंस ही नहीं होगी. जब कन्वर्जेंस नहीं होगी तो मसला ही खत्म हो जाएगा, राइट? सो ऑप्टिकल करेक्शन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
कवर कर.
अच्छा, आप कह रही हैं कि एक आंख को कवर कर दें. Why should we cover the eye? That is my question.
ताकि सिर्फ लेफ्ट आई यूज हो, फिर उसकी जो सप्रेशन है वो खत्म हो जाए और आहिस्ता आहिस्ता से वो काम करना शुरू कर दे. फिर सर्जरी के जरिए भी उसको करेक्ट किया जा सकता है.
करेक्ट किया जा सकता है, जो ठीक है. So you're saying कि all right, if this child does not have good vision in the left eye, we somehow force this child to use his left eye. We have to force him to use his left eye. तो अगर लेफ्ट आई में सप्रेशन हुआ है तो हम जब उसे फोर्स करेंगे कि वो अपनी लेफ्ट आई यूज करे तो क्या होगा? आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वो सप्रेशन खत्म हो जाएगी. ऐसे क्या ना?
yes.
मतलब he will जो सप्रेशन फोबिया की हो रही थी, when he is forced to use his left eye, the suppression will decrease. So that is a good principle. इसको हम क्या कहते थे? कोई पुराना बंदा है?
Patching.
occlusion.
Occlusion, yes. पुराना बंदा मैंने इसलिए कहा था. Occlusion. We occlude one of the eyes. Get the normal fixing eye so that the deviating eye, it is forced to take up fixation. So we can do occlusion. It's also called patching. There's one other technique. It's called penalization, pharmacological penalization. चलो इसको मैं बाद में discuss करता हूँ. What else would you like to perform? और आप ट्रीटमेंट पे क्या करना चाहेंगे इस पेशेंट की? Surgery. So you're thinking that all right, we need to perform ocular surgery on the muscles. That is a good principle. We need to do surgeries because sometimes the final treatment is surgery. लेकिन surgery अगर आप सबसे पहले कर देंगे तो क्या होगा? Will this squint be corrected?
दोबारा हो जाएगा.
दोबारा क्यों हो जाएगा? That is my question. Why will the squint be okay? We have to perform surgery at the first time. This is a logical question कि अगर सर्जरी ही हमने करनी है तो हम सर्जरी क्यों नहीं पहले करते? इतनी हम मुसीबत कर रहे हैं कि हम पहले ऑप्टिकल करेक्शन कर रहे हैं, हम पैचिंग कर रहे हैं, अपना काम कर रहे हैं. Why should सीधी सीधी तरह सर्जरी करें?
क्योंकि
ठीक है. The first answer, can you please repeat that? आपकी आवाज में बहुत ज़्यादा एको आ रहा था. I couldn't hear it.
आई इतनी जल्दी अडैप्ट नहीं कर पाती.
I adapt नहीं कर पाती. You're saying that I cannot adapt to surgery. That is good. That is the right answer in a very broad sense. However, we want to be a little more specific. So can anyone be a little more specific?
ग्रोइंग एज है तो आई बॉल की ग्रोथ हो रही है, अभी बच्चा है तो सर्जरी.
You're saying कि आई ग्रोथ हो रही है तो सर्जरी का उससे इफेक्ट आ सकता है. ठीक है, that's a good thing we have to keep in mind. आपने मुझे इसी सवाल के बारे में रिमाइंड कराना है at the end. There's a few things I would like to discuss about what you're saying and the concept which you have. Okay, remind me about that.
तो मतलब साइकोलॉजिकली सर्जरी से हम कैसे ठीक कर सकते हैं? सप्रेशन हुई है
साइकोलॉजिकल. ठीक है, yes, that is correct, that is true. Okay, that is very close to the point. Okay, it's one of the reasons why we do not perform the surgery. And yes, this is also true. We have to prove one eye so the other can develop. Young age पे अब मैं आपको बताऊं, squint में if surgery can be performed, it is preferred कि अगर surgery की requirements meet हो रही हैं, so even as young as children who are 2 years of age, 2 years old, even those who are somewhat 18 months, 18 महीने के बच्चों में भी surgery की जा सकती है, squint surgery. ठीक है, and it is preferred that surgery be done as soon as possible, as soon as it is feasible, regardless of age. जितना आप age में delay करेंगे surgery, उतने उसके negative consequences हैं. So the important thing is that this eye has had psychological suppression. Okay, now depending upon the time in during which मतलब कितने अरसे के लिए suppressed रही है this left eye, depending upon the time it has remained suppressed, this eye can even have abnormal retinal correspondence. So abnormal retinal correspondence क्या थी, which we discussed last time, that some other point in the retina, this point, some other point other than the fovea, it has now become the main point where light rays are falling. The fovea is suppressed, and this other point is now receiving or is now given more attention in the occipital cortex. So it is also called eccentric fixation. It is also called fovealization of another part of the retina. So if this eccentric fixation develops, what will happen? कि अब वो जो नया point है, which is focus on the retina, अब light rays उससे focus कर रही है, relationship दिमाग ने समझ लिया कि all right, fovea को भूल जाओ, fovea suppress करो. This is the new point. This is the point where all the light rays fall. This is our prime point which we want to focus on. This is what the brain is thinking. Now, if you correct the squint using surgery, the light rays, they will fall on the fovea. दोबारा fovea में fall कर जाएंगी. However, in this case, the fovea is still suppressed, number one. And the second is that कि जो abnormal point था, that point which we discussed to be point A मैंने discuss किया था, I think, in the last time. That point A will also lose its function. तो brain को लगेगा कि मेरी eye deviate हो गई है. It will try to correct for that deviation and squint will happen again. क्या आपको ये बात समझ आ गई है? Have you understood this?
Yes.
किसी को नहीं समझ आई तो दोबारा बता दे. This is the normal fovea. ठीक है, fovea पे normally fovea पे light rays fall करनी चाहिए. This is what happens normally. If this is the cornea, let me know. Okay, this is the cornea. ये cornea तो. So this what happens normally. But when an abnormal relationship fovea suppress हो जाए और आंख deviate कर जाए, what will happen now? Light rays, they will fall on some other point. Fovea तो यहाँ पर ही है. However, the light rays, they will fall on one new point. Retina इधर चला गया. ठीक है, eye has deviated. phobia udhar hi hai. However, light rays, they fall on another point. Now this is the point of eccentric fixation. This is the new point, is point A. Phobia has been suppressed. A is the new point. अब phobia की suppression जब तक आप खत्म नहीं करेंगे तब तक brain वापस उसको normally समझेगा. For this, for now, the normal for brain is point A in the retina, which is some other point. So if you perform an ocular surgery, if you correct the squint surgically, what will happen? कि light rays बेशक वापस उस phobia पर fall कर जाएं, लेकिन brain तो यही समझेगा ना कि मेरे normal पे fall नहीं कर रहा, because the normal is now A for the brain. So it will again try to move the eye. Squint can redevelop. So before we perform ocular surgeries, we have to make sure a few things. First is that we have to reduce foveal suppression. Number one. The second, if there is adaptation in the form of eccentric fixation, we have to correct that adaptation. हमें उसे counter करना है. We have to finish that so that phobia is the main point of the eye. And the third is, if both of these are possible, then the third is we have to perform surgery. So what are these two things called which I've just told you? कि एक तो हमने phobia की suppression खत्म करनी है. What is that called? How can we do that? We do that via patching. ठीक है, we do that via patching, we do that via occlusion. जब आप normal fixing eye को occlude कर देंगे, when you patch the normal fixing eye, the other eye will be forced to take a fixation, और वो इसको मजबूर हो जाएगी कि the phobia unsuppresses. However, if there is abnormal retinal correspondence, what will you do? अब आप क्या करेंगे? That is a big question, and I will leave it unanswered for now. तो चले हम suppose कहते हैं कि our patient does not have abnormal retinal correspondence. ठीक है? He only had suppression, and when we did patching, his suppression was returned to normal. Suppression नहीं थी, suppression खत्म हो गई, phobia पर perception आ रही है. So that was at that time. वो मतलब हम उसकी treatment में patching कर रहे हैं. However, if we bring back the concept of binocular vision which we started, so without performing ocular patching or occlusion or anything of the sort, does this patient have binocular vision?
No.
This patient does not have binocular vision because the first grade of binocular vision is binocular macular perception, that light rays fall on the macula. When we talk about eccentric fixation, light rays, they do not fall on that point in the fovea. So he does not have binocular vision. अगर आप इसकी fovealize इसकी suppression खत्म भी कर दें via patching, you still have to develop binocular vision in that eye. What is that called? What is this called? The process of developing binocular vision in eyes. We know that we have to use a synaptophore. Okay, that is pretty obvious to us that we have to use a synaptophore to develop binocular vision. But using this synaptophore to develop vision, what is it called? इस तरह हमने occlusion या patching कहा था. हमने कहा था मतलब occlusion हम कहते हैं कि patch the eye. We can use anything to patch the eye. We can use a sponge, we can use a pad, anything, right? But the process is called occlusion. What is this process called in which we develop binocular vision? कोई पुराना बंदा बेशक बता दे. This is called orthoptics. Keep this in mind. This is called orthoptics. Orthoptics means that we want to develop binocular vision in the patient or in the child, and not only simultaneous macular perception, we also want to develop fusion. We also want to develop stereopsis. And this process is called orthoptics, or it's called orthoptic training. Let me sum up what we have just said. We need to perform optical correction in this patient so that the initial reason behind the accommodation, excessive convergence, it is eliminated. That is the first principle of treatment. हमें वो cause खत्म कर दी. The second, if that long-standing deviation deviation has been around for long enough, this patient might have developed suppression of the fovea. We want to unsuppress the fovea. How can we unsuppress the fovea? We can unsuppress the fovea by patching the normal eye so that he is forced to use his deviated eye. And once he is forced to use that deviated eye, his fovea will become unsuppressed. That is achieved via occlusion. Now, we have unsuppressed the fovea. However, his eye still needs to learn binocular vision, because when it was deviated at the start, there wasn't binocular macular perception. We want to develop binocular macular perception in both the eyes. उसी के बाद हम फ्यूजन डेवलप कर सकते हैं, उसी के बाद सिरोप्सिस. इवन अगर ऑक्लूजन के बाद अगर बाइनोकुलर परसेप्शन भी मैकुला पे हो जाए, we still want to develop fusion and siropsis. So what do? We perform an orthoptic training. We perform orthoptics. We use orthoptics. Okay, आपका क्वेश्चन अभी बताता हूँ. And as these things are going side by side, and the squint is being treated, and if we say that, all right, this is not satisfactory, we still need to do something, then we go towards ocular surgery. So these are the 4 O's of comitant squint treatment which you have to remember. If you write these 4 O's in examination, in SEQs and prof, आपको इसके number मिल जाएंगे. Okay, but if you remember the rationale of why we are using these 4 O's, then it will become a lot easier. Okay, so these are the 4 O's: optical correction, occlusion, orthoptics, and ocular surgery. वही बात है कि देखो, macular rehabilitation हो गई, macula is unsuppressed, there are still grades of binocular vision. You and I, we have stereopsis, which is the 3rd grade. We can have depth perception, we can fuse images. So even though after occlusion we can have binocular macular perception, this child still needs to learn fusion and he still needs to learn stereopsis, क्योंकि grades हैं ये. ठीक है, अगर पहला मौजूद होगा उसी के बाद दूसरा मौजूद हो सकता है. ये नहीं हो सकता कि एक बच्चे में stereopsis हो and he doesn't have binocular macular perception. ऐसे नहीं हो सकता कि someone has fusion but he does not have binocular macular perception. दोनों आंखें एक जगह फोकस करेंगी ही, then they will learn to fuse. This child, both the macula, they are not seeing at the same place. That is why we use patching and occlusion. After they look at the same place, then we use orthoptics so that we can train fusion and we can train stereopsis. So in order to achieve 2nd degree and 3rd degree of binocular vision, we use orthoptic training. So these principles are very important.
भाई हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि जब हम लोगों ने ऑक्लूजन कुछ अरसे के लिए कर दी है, तो उसके बाद जो सप्रेस्ड आई थी उसकी जो फोवियल रिहैबिलिटेशन है वो हमने अचीव कर ली है, इसका हम पता कैसे लगाएंगे?
Well, that's a good question. हम कैसे पता लगा सकते हैं कि after we've done occlusion or patching, how can we assess that? तो थोड़ा सा लंबा कॉन्सेप्ट हो जाएगा, बस bear with me, ठीक है, क्योंकि आपने सवाल थोड़ा सा ऐसा पूछा है. जब फोवियल सप्रेशन होती है, चलो हम थोड़ा सा एक ओल्डर पेशेंट लेते हैं, ठीक है. लेट्स से आवर पेशेंट इज 6 or 7 years old. Now he is able to talk, he's able to tell us what objects are and all that stuff, right? He has some development, तो हमें बता सकता है. So when there's foveal suppression, what happens is that most of the reflexes are lost. Okay, reflexes are lost. मैं light reflex की बात नहीं कर रहा, मैं आपको reflexes बताता हूँ कौन से. Reflexes are lost. Visual acuity is greatly decreased. Even after best possible optical correction, visual acuity is decreased. Okay, that child will have decreased contrast sensitivity. Retina के थोड़े मसले आ जाएंगे. He will have difficulty in judging shapes, etc. all that stuff. ना? तो एक बड़े बच्चे में या older child में, this is how we assess, all right, there is macular suppression. और एक तो जब squint है ही है तो हमें अंदाजा हो जाता है कि अच्छा अगर eye deviated है तो this must have binocular suppression, otherwise he would have had diplopia. तो अब हमें कैसे पता लगेगा एक छोटे बच्चे में? तो छोटे बच्चों में कुछ reflexes होते हैं कि these are follow reflexes of some sort. For example, if you shine a torch in front of a child or a young baby, he or she will follow that light, follow that torch. Okay? These are different follow reflexes. And as the child grows older, we have different methods of assessing visual acuity. We use those methods. So after before occlusion and patching, if the visual acuity is low, and after occlusion and patching, visual acuity increases, or these primitive reflexes, these follow reflexes, जो हम बता रहे हैं कि torch बच्चे के सामने, fixating reflexes. For example, if you छोटे बच्चे के सामने आके चुटकी बजाते हैं, and he looks towards you, or he looked towards the source of the sound, that is a fixating reflex, right? If these reflexes they come on, or if they improve and the visual acuity improves after patching or occlusion, then we know our treatment is working. Okay, I hope I've answered the question. That is how we can tell, okay, all right, our treatment is working. But it's very difficult that treatment works. Why do you think occlusion and patching is different? It's very difficult, sorry, not different. चलो इस सवाल को हम दोबारा देखते हैं, right? So let's draw an algorithm. It's very fun algorithm. It takes into account these 4 general principles. Keep in mind these general principles, and this is how we will proceed in a patient. So when we have a patient who has amblyopia, sorry, not amblyopia, I'm saying strange words. Now, if our diagnosis is of accommodative esotropia, the first thing we will do to a patient, हमने वो जो ऊपर वाला algorithm बना दिया था, it's following that algorithm, this one. So after we have our diagnosis, then what we will do? We will refract. We will perform refraction and prescribe glasses. So when we refraction and prescribe glasses, refraction हम कैसे करेंगे? और in other terms, can you छोटा बच्चा है 4 साल का, उसमें you cannot use a Snellen's chart क्योंकि वो आपको letters read करके नहीं बता सकता. How will you assess visual acuity in this child? That is the question. अच्छा चलो मैं मेरे सवाल के मैं आपसे दोबारा रिपीट करता हूँ. So you've asked कि एक occluded eye पर कोई effect नहीं आएगा, आएगा, occluded eye पे भी effect आएगा. That is a good question. ठीक है, that is why हम continuously patching नहीं करते. हम ये नहीं कहते कि हम 1 महीना या 2 महीने इस आंख को पैच रखेंगे. हम इस आंख को थोड़ी देर कम उम्र के लिए पैच रखेंगे. हम इससे कम पैचिंग इसकी हम करेंगे. ठीक है, तो पैचिंग का एक रेशो होता है, वो उसको डिस्कस करता हूँ. तो इसको भी डिस्कस करते हैं. ठीक है, कीप दिस क्वेश्चन इन माइंड. लास्ट भी मुझसे पूछ लेना. ठीक है, इफ आई फॉरगेट दिस. Patching is done or occlusion is done in a ratio. I will get to that. So refraction and prescribed glasses. Now in this child, we discussed measured that visual acuity, said that visual acuity is plus 4.5 diopters. This child is hypermetropic. How do we know this child is hypermetropic? We cannot use a Snellen's chart. We cannot use an E-chart. This is a 4-year-old child. How can we tell that the child is hypermetropic?
भाई उसके सामने हम कोई टॉय ले आएंगे या फिर कोई चीज जो उसको अट्रैक्ट करती हो और उसको एक तरफ से दूसरी तरफ करेंगे तो देखेंगे वो उसको फॉलो करता है या नहीं करता.
Now that is a good way of judging whether the child has मतलब primitive reflexes. उससे आपको अंदाजा हो जाता है कि all right, his visual acuity must be good. आपको अंदाजा हो जाता है. But can you say कि आपने एक टॉय लेके आप बच्चे के सामने घुमा फिरा रही हैं and you're saying कि अच्छा this child is following my every command and he's following the toy nicely. So he must have 0.5 diopters of visual acuity, or he has 6x6 visual acuity. You cannot tell by this examination alone. You need to perform a specific
Retinoscopy.
examination. Retinoscopy se karenge yaar. Retinoscopy. A scan is used to measure the axial length. It has no relationship to visual acuity. Remember that. A scan is for axial length. Visual acuity is done via Snellen's chart. It's done via photorefractor or the refractometer or the machine. What we use in cases of children and in squint, we perform visual acuity using retinoscopy. It's very important. So retinoscopy से आपने visual acuity की, you perform refraction, मतलब using retinoscopy. Retinoscopy बिठाया बच्चे के सामने, आपने judge कर दिया, all right, 4.5 diopters आ रहा है. Trial frame लगाया, जिस तरह हम सारों के glasses लगे उनके ऊपर लगते रहे आँखों पे. Trial frame लगाने के बाद you use different lenses, reflex neutralize हो गया, you have a visual acuity, and you prescribe glasses. So most of the time in accommodative esotropia, this is the only thing which you need to do. Optical correction sometimes completely corrects esotropia, especially if it is recent, acutely developed, thoda years over develop हुए. So just by eliminating the use or the need of accommodation, you can completely reverse the squint. This is why it's very important. And this is the first step whenever you're managing a patient who has esotropia. Okay, let's say that you prescribed, he has accommodative esotropia, aapko andaza ho gaya, you have performed clinical tests and examinations and all that stuff. The child has accommodative esotropia, you prescribe glasses and you refract glasses. Prescribe glasses, you perform refraction and you prescribe glasses. You tell him कि all right, आपने 3 महीने बाद आने. Have a visit to my clinic 3 months, or which is the normal months, 2 months after this. On your next visit, you will reassess compliance. कि बच्चा glasses कितनी देर पहनता रहा है. You will reassess the degree of squint. And the third, you will assess vision again. Now I have 3 questions. 2 minute रहते हैं, and we still have a lot of time. It will only take 15 minutes. 5 minutes only time है. We will have a session after this. I'm going to end early. 1 minute पहले खत्म कह रहा हूँ. But I have 3 questions for you now. How will we assess degree of squint? This question आप में से भी किसी ने नहीं पूछा, and I haven't put this up. मैंने भी discussion नहीं की. So the first important thing is, how do we assess the degree of squint? My second question is, if the child is not compliant with the glasses, what can you do? Those are my 2 questions. इसके बारे में आप सोचें. I'll be back in a minute.